This is Justin on Wednesday, November 16th, 2022, looking at SPX. I'm looking at the daily. Today's range was below 30 points, and it's the smallest candle we got on the screen. This one was 30.55. Today's was, so this was right into the 100 back on 10/31, Halloween. That wasn't a scary day, at least in the market. And then here we are today, even smaller candle than that. So I'm sure I can scroll back and find a smaller candle, but really small day. Here we are 4 days in a row. This is really, really, really looking like a stair step. And that means we should continue higher. It's getting easier to see if we have a gap up that we could just run. We got a gap up yesterday and chopped. And today we gapped down and didn't sell off. So could we gap up Thursday and run into the 200, run into these lines? Sure, totally. Anything at this point is possible. I'm going to jump into the 3-minute. We'll look at something, breaking this down a little bit smaller. There were only a couple kind of strong 10 EMA setups I saw. One of them was a bullish one here. It was after 5 bull candles and then a 10 EMA. It's like, I don't like that, especially when here's some resistance, here's some resistance. It's like, is this really going to go? Well, it did, and then it reversed with this inverted hammer and then sold off. So that wouldn't have worked, or maybe you could have scalped that. So that was bullish. Bearish, you had one here a little bit later. I really wanted that to retest back into like the middle of this bigger candle, which it did kind of do over here and then kind of over here. But at this point, it was setting up for a bull setup for the 10 EMA. Bear candle closing above the 10. The other thing that I liked early on was these two back-to-back candles. So if you're just setting this up with SPX, this would have been kind of like a 1-to-1, maybe, or maybe SPY would have worked better to do that. The other way to play this, and it's not technically a 10 EMA, but it's something that I'll look for sometimes with getting a better entry in the option, is to look for retracement into a big candle like this one from here to here. Look for that midpoint and look for that to be inside of the body of these candles, so maybe even a little higher, and look to short it up at a wick here or over here. So this was a really nice place to short right here. It just looked like, at one point, it looked like that was a really strong bull candle going up. But you want to short it, and that actually would have worked really well from there. Obviously, hindsight, yeah, it would have worked great, but you're kind of second guessing, is this starting to break out? What's going on? The other place I noticed, obviously, is this inverted hammer. This is not a 10 EMA setup, but it really got into the same range as early on in the day, way up here. This turned into an evening star reversal, huge upper wicks, great place to go short, just based on that hammer, really. And then even the option could have been played on a retest to there, getting in and holding for that kind of a rollover. The only issue is the options, which ones to get into, how to play it. So here is the 39.75 call. And let me zoom back into this. So here are some places that you maybe could have been buying low. Here's the hammers that were inverted hammers here. All of these were around the same upper wick, around 1450 around there. So that's something significant when you have like the same option value. It's like something's going on strong there, that's a good place to reverse. So then like look at these key times and go look at the put and see, okay, is that a good place to buy the put? Well, the put keeps getting lower and lower and lower all through that. Here is that first one. This range in this candle is more than $1, so you'd have to go further out than 39.50 on the put. Did I say call? No, I switched the put just now. Never mind. So 39.50, that's too big. Go further out, like 39.25 maybe, to get a smaller hammer here. But then it's a question of how far is it actually going to move today, and it ended up being a really small day. Here's another one. So this was a really good hammer, nice size hammer. The range was about $1, but then it gave you a lot of opportunities to buy into that range, buying at like $2. Like in the next 2 candles, you could have gotten an entry at $2 and a stop down at 1. And that actually would have worked. So you could have played this, buying at 2 would have been filled on that candle and flip it out at 4, or maybe held to 5 where you've got some previous resistance here. So that could have been a 3-hour trade. But again, you're buying based on an inverted hammer at a location, not the 10 EMA going bearish up here, because the 10 EMA you would have had to wait. Actually, the 10 EMA didn't even trigger till down here. So that's the issue with this setup, is you would have been going bearish here on this candle and would have missed out on all of this And that's actually where you would have made the money for the day. So if you had waited till this candle triggered, that was at 12:45. We go back to the put at 12:45. That was getting in on this candle. So if you're getting in at 4, you're only maybe flipping that out at $500 risk. Well, I'm saying buy at 4, stop would have been at 3, which I wouldn't have liked that because of this candle. So you missed your chance to do, a really good buy down here, buying low. Obviously, buy low, sell high. Still with options. Buy at 2, sell at 4. You're getting out at 4, not buying at 4. You're late to the party. You're not going to get as big of a move. Even if you had looked for a higher target, let's say 6, and then once it put in the wick here, like, oh, it's not going to get there. Let me lower it to 5. It doesn't get back up to that till after you're stopped out at your 3. So it just wouldn't have worked. It was just a smaller day, choppy day. Sometimes those days can have still really good moves in the options. I didn't find any that worked out really well. I thought we'd at least have some sort of a push from down here. Let me zoom out and show the bigger picture here, and I'll end the video with this. So I said this is a stair step, and on the daily, it looks like that. We've got these lower highs we've been putting in. We've got this really strong support right here now. So we've really consolidated. This being a stair step from here to here is telling me we should break out. We should do something like that. That's what should happen. Probably run back up, like turn this into a channel. We should run back up to this, come back down to a retest of something, and then break out. That's what should happen, or maybe some more chop. Okay, so this is 1, this is 2. The other thing that I see here, and I'm going to draw with a different color, is this could be a massive head and shoulder. Oops, really? I bumped it right then. And shoulder. And this shoulder, when this right shoulder gets flatter and smaller and doesn't come up as high as the previous shoulder, which technically that did, so maybe that's not. But when I've seen these flatter shoulders, I've seen a bigger move down. And so that would be the third option. So obviously up, down, or sideways, or up, sideways, or down. Those are the things I'm looking for. But if we do break down below this, if we gap down, I want to see a retest somewhere close to this, and this is the decision point. We need to roll over here. It'd be great if we can get a 10 EMA coming down and get a bunch of bull candles, and then we set up something like this, but like on a smaller time frame where we start to roll. And that will be, let's see if I can find one. I haven't had a really good one lately that worked. Here it is bullish, where we have kind of like a pennant. So like right here, where we just kind of consolidate, and then you want that to go. Like this would be the bullish one because it's above the 10. For a bearish one, it's got to do that, like even here, like this, like that, and then go down. So you want to see some bull candles closing, and then we get below those. But it's got to already be below the 10. This is more of a flag where it's moving back up. What I want is kind of like here, right here is a good one. I want that below the 10, and then I want to see it go. And I will get in here. My entry will be here. My stop will be up here. Like that's the way to play this. I may, try and skimp a little and get in on a retracement, get in on the option here, and then have my stop nice and tight, and then look for a rollover, or get in blind, looking for that rollover to happen after it's already triggered. So that's something that hopefully we'll see happen if we do end up going down. But this is looking like a massive head and shoulders, but is not triggered. And so if it's not triggered, we're going to look for it to continue to be bullish and to bounce. And that's what this is telling me, is this should continue higher. Guess we'll see. Hope this helps. This is Justin. Thanks.